Hey everyone, this is Corey with Stafford's EDC, and today I'm going to be giving you my full review of the Qvist knives variant PE3. Now, you have seen the variant on this channel, and I'm pretty sure I have a video on the PE2. Maybe not, but regardless, I have looked at all the iterations of the variant design so far, except for the slip joint, the Vanish. But besides that, this is the newest iteration. This here is the PE3, and what you're looking at is the biggest change. This here is a titanium frame lock, whereas the original version did not have this front flipper, and also did not have titanium scales originally. Pardon me. The original one was 14C28N with a satin finish, was made by QSP, and had G10 handles, and a just a standard steel clip, and of course was a liner lock with no front flipper. The PE2 was basically identical to the first one, except it had some better handle materials, including titanium scales, but was still a liner lock. Now, the PE2 was where the front flipper was introduced, and now we have the next iteration, the PE3. Now, this is also being made by QSP, and in this case, you see full titanium construction with a 20 CV blade. You can see a filler tab there for the handle. Yeah, so you have a reversible, now milled titanium clip opposed to a bent steel clip. You do have a lock bar insert that you can see right there. Lockup is solid on these. And then another change besides 20 CV as your blade steel instead of 14C28N is that this is now a hollow ground blade. And we're going to talk about why that's important in just a moment. Briefly, I want to go through the changes that are going to happen from this here prototype moving into the production version. One of the things that you may have noticed is that this lock bar cutout is on the outside of the lock bar. That will be moved to the inside, which is a huge thing aesthetically, but especially with this knife in hand. That just so happens to be where my ring finger lands a lot of the time, and when I first got this in hand, I really noticed these corners. These corners right here aren't sharp, but they certainly have a bit of a point to them, and that was really catching on this ring finger here. And I was just feeling it in hand, like I can just feel it just slightly pinch in these areas where those corners are. So having that on the inside will look a hell of a lot better, and will also feel much better in hand. Additionally, the detent is going to be strengthened up slightly, and there's also going to be some internal milling added to this. This is actually pretty lightweight already. It's significantly lighter than the PE2 with titanium scales, which of course had full steel liners, and then you slap the titanium on top of that, so naturally it's going to be heavy. But I don't know if you can see in the inside here, there is absolutely no milling at all on the inside for any kind of weight relief. And like I said, this is fairly lightweight. You know, it does not feel like a brick in hand at all. You know, it's not a huge knife, but being full titanium with no milling, it's fairly light. I actually really like the way it feels, but I'm not going to complain about, you know, a third of an ounce, a half an ounce being milled out from the inside. You know, that would be amazing. Now, I don't have the exact number of how much will be milled out, but it'll be nice to have this lightened up even more. Now, so the last and final change to note, which isn't super applicable to this version, but rather for the other versions available with different anodized handles, is the filler tab. You can see this matches the finish of the rest of the scale. You know, it's just a, like a stone-washed or lightly blasted titanium, and it matches pretty well. The only version, like I said, this is the version where it matches, and it will match in all the production versions, but the prototypes were on, there was a gold anodized version that had black hardware, where the filler tab was black as well, which made it really stand out. So Jacob is changing that to match the anodization of the handle, and in this case, no anodization, so it already matches. I already went over the fact that the pocket clip has been changed from a steel clip to a titanium clip, and this is a pretty nice clip overall. You can see it still carries fairly deep, so no real issues there. Very minimal knife sticking out of your pocket. if any at all, once, this gets tucked down there. And then, of course, it's a great cutter. Let's talk about performance for a minute. You have a sway back design that's fairly neutral, but works absolutely wonders in a reverse grip where you're going to be drawing towards you. And also the ergos with this cutout are really great. Some people might not like it, but I've always really enjoyed, Jacob or Qvist Blade Works. I've always enjoyed this signature design of his. And I always found it super comfy. It indexes the knife really well, always knows where that cutting edge is. And this blade shape with its Warncliffe sheep's foot thing it's got going on, combined with the new hollow grind, this is incredible. This always cut well. The previous versions with the flat grind cut great. Absolutely no issues there. But this hollow grind just gets just a little bit thinner. And it stays thinner for much longer. That's the big difference between a hollow grind and a flat grind. A flat grind, you have grinds like this, but a hollow grind is more like that. So you can see, it's not a great demonstration, but it wedges out more as a flat grind, opposed to a hollow grind where it gradually comes back before it widens out. So this means this thing cuts like a frickin' laser. It's so comfortable in hand, and it glides through material. That's a huge upgrade. I've always been an advocate for hollow grinds, and this is like the proof in the pudding. You have flat grind versions, and then you have this, and it's night and day. Despite the flat grind cutting so well on the previous versions, this just blows it out of the water. And of course, your upgrade to 20 CV, making this a nice premium option. You can't really complain about that. Great steel, great build quality, great action too, something I haven't even mentioned yet. The detent on this prototype is pretty good, and as I said, it is going to be stiffened up slightly, which is nice, because you can fail this. You have to kind of try to fail it, which, as you see, I deployed it there. You really have to be gentle with it to get it to not deploy, or it has to catch your finger like it did there. You can just barely miss it. And that's really not that bad. Like I said, the detent feels pretty good. Works great for the front flipper. I would like to see that extra detent with the front flipper, because, you put a little too much pressure and it pops out, and then you got to roll it. And, do people really like slow rolling their front flippers? I don't. So, that's not something I enjoy. It's there because I want to flick it out. Like that. Makes a nice solid snap. And with a little bit of extra detent that is going to be added to this, that's going to be fantastic. And of course, it is on bearings, so it drops right to your finger and shakes shut with very little effort. This here is another home run coming from Qvist Blade Works. Absolutely no issues with that there. This was available for pre-order. I'm just opening up Jacob's Instagram here and his website in the background. This was available for pre-order. I'm going to see if it still is open. Let's see. Pre-order has closed, but I think Urban EDC Supply has the pre-order for these still open on their end, though I could be wrong. I'm going to check that for you right now. Let's find out, because I don't want to give you the wrong information. I don't normally do this kind of thing. Let's see. It says pre-order. Yeah, it says you can order it. It says you can buy it now. And one of the best parts about this, these are $169. Titanium, 20 CV, hollow grind. It's hard to beat. It's really hard to beat. Additionally, there is also the pre-order for the Vanish, his slip joint version, which is also in 20 CV and is a smaller version of this. Of course, like I said, slip joint, not a frame lock, and those are $119. That's also available on Urban EDC Supply. So if you're going to be going and checking out the PE3, you might as well check out the Vanish on there as well. All that being said, this is a home run coming from Qvist. Unfortunately, I did not pre-order one of these. Maybe I'll pick one up on the, when they drop officially. I don't know when the exact order is coming in from the pre-order, but this is fantastic, and he's got some great stuff on the way as well. Really, really happy I got a chance to look at this. So big thanks again to Jacob for sending this guy along to let me check it out. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you had a great rest of your day and take care.